I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. During Tuesday's Senate Finance Committee hearing, Senator Steve Daines applauded the recent Supreme Court ruling to overturn Roe v. Wade, but expressed his disappointment in pro-choice advocates' efforts to protect abortion services. The senator decried proposals to use federal lands to set up abortion clinics, saying, quote, "Public land should be life-giving to Americans, not life-taking." He then asked Dr. Rebecca Haffajee, the nominee to be Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services, her thoughts on the matter. Let's listen in for her response.
Chairman, thank you. 2 weeks ago, the Supreme Court issued a landmark decision to return the power back to the people and their elected representatives to enact laws to protect life. Since that ruling, I've been disappointed by ongoing efforts by the left to promote abortion on demand. One of the most outrageous proposals has been to use federal lands to set up abortion clinics to circumvent state law. When asked about this recently, Secretary Becerra responded, and I quote, "Every option's on the table." I believe that our public land should be life-giving to Americans, not life-taking. Question for Dr. Haffajee: if confirmed, you'll be responsible for advising Secretary Becerra on policy development as well as strategic planning. Do you think the federal government should allow the building of an abortion clinic on federal lands?
Thank you for the question, Senator Daines. Here again, HHS is committed to providing health and human services to all populations, including reproductive health services. I think that may be a legal question, better left to OGC and other colleagues. Again, ASPE's role would be to support with data and evidence as asked.
But what's your view on that? I mean, you're going to play. I mean, you're going through this process because you're going to have, if confirmed, a very important role of advising and with Secretary Becerra. Do you think the federal government should allow the building of an abortion clinic on federal lands?
Well, I think to me, it again comes down to the data and evidence around both the law and the data and evidence around what is needed for different populations. So I'm not sure that my personal view would be as relevant there and I really do defer back to what does the science say, what does the data and evidence say?
But what data and evidence would? So you're saying it's a possibility if the data and evidence suggested that should be done?
I think, understanding what localities and states are, what the laws are there, what those populations need, and then making sure that those services are available would be very important.
So you're open to the idea?
I would have to get back to you on that.
But you can get back to me now. Are you open to that idea? I mean, specifically, it's federalized. I mean, about a national park. Should that be an option on the table?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, again, this is going to be the Secretary's decision.
Yeah, but you're going to play an important role there. I mean, you can't just say, I'm just following orders. You are being, if appointed and confirmed, you're going to be in a very important advisory capacity here. So your opinion really matters.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate the question and the importance of ASPE's role. I do think that, again, here I would look to the data, try to inform, what populations need to meet their health and well-being needs, and then leave it to the Secretary to make those decisions.
Okay, but you're open to the option, it sounds like. You're not saying no.
To be honest, I haven't looked deeply enough into that issue to have formed a strong opinion.
After President Biden signed an executive order this last Friday to promote abortion, he said yesterday that he is considering declaring a public health emergency on abortion access. Dr. Haffajee, you wrote an article in the New England Journal of Medicine titled, quote, "What is a public health emergency?" where you raised concerns about the overuse of emergency powers. You wrote, and I quote, "There is also an instrumental reason to be concerned about the overuse of emergency powers. If this crucial tool is too readily public health officials may find themselves, if it's used too readily, public health officials may find themselves like the boy who cried wolf. Their warnings about emergencies may go unheeded. Moreover, the public may lose trust in health officials, which may result in a loss of political legitimacy as well as a backlash about public health laws more generally. Dr. Havagee, do you hold those same views today?
Thank you for the question, Senator Daines. And yes, I do. I do believe that, as both a lawyer and a public health researcher, that we need to think about, when we're using powers, that they are needed.
So do you think it would an abuse? Do you think it's an abuse? Do you think it's an abuse of emergency authority for President Biden to declare a public health emergency on abortion?
Again, that would be up to the Secretary and the President to make those determinations.
But I'm asking you what you think of it. You wrote, very eloquently about your concerns of the use of emergency powers. So do you think it's an abuse of authority when he declared this a public health emergency?
I thank you for the question. I think, here again, I think thinking about, does it meet the criteria for a public health emergency? Is this an urgent public health need? And really, are these powers going to address any of the problems that are trying to be solved? And so, again, ASPE would help to inform it with data and evidence, but ultimately that would be a secretarial and presidential decision.
Right. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Daines. Senator Whitehouse.
Thank you, Chairman.